into the judgment. We know that you've already turned to the High Court, as the court has determined, and they've stated that this is a matter that should have proceeded there. They've also acknowledged the fact that you were raising constitutional issues and they haven't hit you with costs because of that, so Biowatch does apply, but they have acknowledged that they're not going to get into the merits because this is a novel issue that should have started at the High Court first. We know that you did turn there to the urgent court, and again you were turned away for lack of urgency. So what's next for the MK party regarding this issue?
No, let me just start by saying that this is nothing more than the Constitutional Court passing the buck more than anything else. And this judgment is on the basis of an order, not on the merits of the case. I mean, they've just confirmed that it's not like this is not a meritless case. That alone should tell you that there's something substantial, and we, MK, in terms of our papers and our submissions, are onto something, that the announcement by the president ought to actually be rendered invalid and unconstitutional, because this is exactly what the case is about. The issue of direct access, this court has heard even lesser issues. I mean, lesser matters such as when the president was brought here and he was incarcerated by the same court. I mean, that's a lesser issue than this particular matter that we're raising on the issue of constitutionality. So the court, in terms of its application, we found that during the Zuma administration, the courts were able to hold the executive accountable. But what's interesting with this administration is that this court never holds, all the courts never hold the executive accountable. And we're seeing more of scapegoatism. I mean, Mkhonto Wesizwe has never lost any case, let's be clear. Everything is based on technicalities. All the merits that have been submitted have never been really presented in terms of the High Court. The High Court just based their decision on the issue of urgency, not the merits, again, which also is confirmed today that it's not a meritless case. Remember, Judge Matopo at one point during those deliberations in this court, he himself stated that the president may have erred in terms of his announcements and some of the decisions that he has taken. So that alone, by a justice in this court saying that, demonstrates, and then for them to come back today and say it's not a meritless case, is a clear indication that there is something to be heard here. And now South Africans are having to fit the bill for a commission of inquiry just for political patronage. What's also interesting, and I think we need to highlight this to South Africans, is if you see the role players in the Madlanga Commission, you can't have a judge that's going to preside over an investigation against his own peers. It didn't have to be a judicial commission of inquiry, especially knowing very well that the judiciary is complicit and found to have been involved in the allegations that were brought by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. Now, here's something to also cite. You'll remember that, look at Marikana. It's the same president that instructed the police, using them as his private security, to go and massacre and kill those mine workers, right? Which led to the Marikana Commission. Now, what's interesting about the Marikana Commission, who was the chief evidence leader there? The same Madlanga was the chief evidence leader. Who was supporting him? Charles Kinson was under him. Who was the commissioner representing the police? Ceci Baloyi. So the same players. Now what you find today is the same president now instructs the police to go and use them as a security company of his own against the issues relating to the Richards Bay minerals, the mining company. Same situation. Who was there? Again, he sends the police. Now, we're saying that this is nothing but a farce. It's a political circus. Now you're finding Madlanga having to engage with his a former colleague in the Marikana Commission, as an evidence leader today. Now you're finding the person who was the evidence leader in the form of Mutau. He's also now stepped down. Why? Because of issues of public purse money being abused, and he sees it. There's further delays now. Why would Ceci Baloyi, in actual fact, take a break and participate in the JSC? Remember, the JSC is the one that's also supposed to hold judges accountable. So she's playing dual roles, which is effectively, to an extent, has to hold herself accountable and her other colleagues accountable. But they knew that the JSC is going to happen. Why did they appoint an advocate in this case that was going to participate in this, knowing very well that she's also part of the JSC? So everything about this is just a complete farce. It's a house of cards.
Nhlamulo, you do seem like, as the MK party, you are not happy with the outcomes of this judgment. But going ahead, are you still going to approach the High Court then and try and ventilate all of these issues that you're speaking about?
And just to add to that, so Nhlamulo, the Constitutional Court is saying that this is a complex issue that must start in those review proceedings. So there has been some form of guidance in these reasons that are provided by the judgments of the Constitutional Court. It hasn't even gone into the merits. This directly deals with your direct access application, stating that it did not engage the court's exclusive jurisdiction and why. So from receiving that information, what is next for the MK? Are you still pursuing the constitutional challenge outside of the urgent proceedings, taking into consideration that this may be proceedings that you must pursue under a review?
Well, remember, this matter is now with the High Court, lower court. So it is again, kicked out on the basis of urgency.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that we're not going to pursue it. We will pursue this matter until the courts and the judges have no excuse anymore, until they hear the merits and until those merits and the shenanigans that are happening in this country are exposed to the public. So we'll pursue this matter until it's closed.
All right. Thank you very much. That was the